Family and fans alike are trying to put some reasoning into why something like this could have happened to someone who had given so much to the community.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're examining 10 shocking celebrity deaths.
Well, I guess the whole thing was such a surprise to us. We knew that he was taking some prescription medication for an illness that he had.
For this list, we'll be looking at celebrities whose passings were sudden and unexpected, generating a great deal of mourning as a result. Which of these deaths shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Steve Irwin. This Australian conservationist was an idol for millions, and despite working with some highly dangerous creatures, it seemed like he was invincible.
She's a little bit grumpy, this girl. You know what? You have shockingly little control over that animal. Yeah. Really, this animal has the capacity to, You're an idiot! Thank you. I can't help it.
Unfortunately, Steve Irwin was only human, and his work eventually caught up with him. In September of 2006, Irwin was filming Ocean's Deadliest in the Great Barrier Reef when he was fatally stung by a stingray.
He was taken to the surface by crew members but was pronounced dead shortly afterwards. He was working on the Great Barrier Reef in northeastern Queensland when the accident happened.
It was a shock not just because of Irwin's studious safety measures, but because human deaths from stingrays are incredibly rare. Many people publicly mourned, including prominent celebrities and Australia's then Prime Minister John Howard, and his memorial service was viewed by approximately 300 million people.
We gather in this special place that Steve created to celebrate the life of a remarkable man and a remarkable Australian.
Tupac Shakur. Tupac is an icon of 90s culture, known for his social activism and for popularizing introspective lyrics in hip-hop.
How can the devil take a brother if he's close to me? I let it go back to when we played as kids, but then changed. That's the way it is.
His death is also one of the most infamous in the entertainment industry. Tupac was attending a boxing match in Las Vegas on the night of September 7th, 1996, and a celebrity attending a sporting event is certainly nothing new. However, the world was left in disbelief when Tupac was shot in a drive-by later that night.
The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet.
He was rushed to the hospital but died 6 days later. Making Tupac's death even more unbelievable are the facts that he was only 25 years old and that his shooter has never been officially identified.
The reason why the LAPD hasn't closed this case, only they can say why.
Michael Jackson. By their very nature, overdose deaths come as a big surprise, and few ODs were as monumental as Michael Jackson's.
My brother, the legendary king of pop, Michael Jackson, passed away on Thursday, June 25th, 2009 at 2:26 p.m.
By 2009, Jackson was on the come up. He was only 50 years old and was planning a comeback residency at London's O2 Arena called This Is It.
I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear. This is it, and see you in July.
But on June 25, 2009, the world learned that Jackson had died from a fatal concoction of prescription drugs. His personal physician, a man named Comrade Murray, was found responsible for his death and served 2 years in prison.
Michael Jackson, as you have realized now, is a drug addict.
I've got to be honest and say, a court didn't believe you. Jurors didn't believe you. The judge said this was medical madness, that this was a homicide case.
The reaction was immediate and immense. The internet itself essentially crashed. Jackson's music saw an 80-fold increase in sales, and his memorial was viewed by 2.5 billion people. Anthony Bourdain. You never know who is suffering, and that shows in the sudden passing of celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain.
As stunning as his death still is, there appear to have been warning signs. Bourdain talked about depression on his travel shows.
In June 2018, Bourdain was in France filming his travel show, Parts Unknown, which had been airing for 5 years. He failed to show up for a scheduled breakfast, so his friend Eric Repair went to check on him. He found Bourdain dead in his hotel room, having taken his own life.
According to the Times, Bourdain was found unresponsive in his hotel room just after 9 a.m. Friday in France, where he was shooting an upcoming episode of his award-winning show.
It came as a huge surprise to everyone, including Bourdain's mother. Not only was he in the middle of filming his show, but there didn't appear to be many obvious signs to most that Bourdain was struggling.
In New York, crowds gathered outside the former location of Bourdain's acclaimed restaurant that started it all.
It's so upsetting when you feel like someone is such a light to the world and they feel the need to leave.
Actress Rose McGowan penned a public letter addressing Bourdain's death, calling him part of the strong man doesn't ask for help generation. Kobe Bryant. Accidents are something that no one can ever predict. Kobe Bryant is one of the most popular basketball players of all time, having played 20 years with the Los Angeles Lakers and winning 5 championships. He retired in 2016 and later died in a horrific helicopter accident. On the morning of January 26, 2020, Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others were killed when their helicopter slammed into a mountain outside Los Angeles.
And tonight, dozens gathered here near the scene of the crash, a chant of Kobe going up.
The outpouring of grief was immediate, with multiple celebrities paying tribute to Bryant at that night's Grammy Awards.
Since we are in his house, I would ask you to join me in a moment of silence.
He was also honored at the Oscars, and the first Lakers game since his passing was the second most watched basketball game ever aired on ESPN. Robin Williams. The death of Robin Williams has to be one of the biggest shockers of the entertainment world, for a variety of reasons.
It's not just the fear of falling, or, it's the thing of, you can do this. You can jump. You can fly.
Williams took his own life in August 2014, which itself came as a major surprise. He was such a funny and charming man with seemingly boundless reserves of energy, so few could have predicted such a dreary demise.
He really was nice to all the neighbors. Really appreciated his kindness.
I loved his sense of humor. I loved the spontaneity of his life.
The reason for his fatal choice was also a huge bombshell. Williams had been suffering from diffuse Lewy body dementia and was experiencing a number of severe symptoms, including memory loss and delusions.
Lewy body dementia is very similar to Parkinson's, so you can have some of the same problems with your movements and some of the same problems with your thinking. I mean, there's some overlap with Alzheimer's.
He kept these symptoms hidden from the public, so no one had any idea that he was even sick. Selena. Known as both the Tejano Madonna and the Queen of Tejano music, Selena saw great success in the early 90s, winning Grammy Awards and releasing the commercially successful album, Amor Prohibido. Even though her career was just beginning, Selena was making enormous ripples within the music industry. Unfortunately, both her life and career were cut short on the morning of March 31st, 1995.
It's going to be a big disappointment to a lot of people who were following her career and who wanted to see her, become more than she was. I mean, she was a big star already. She was headed for a better direction.
Selena was shot by the president of her own fan club, Yolanda Saldivar, and soon died at a nearby hospital. Her public casket was seen by up to 40,000 fans, and her death made the front page of the New York Times. Selena was only 23 years old when she died.
Grief-stricken Mexican-American community mourned Selena as an idolized daughter or sister. Thousands turned out for a candlelight vigil.
Chadwick Boseman. While he had been acting since the early 2000s, Chadwick Boseman became a household name after playing the titular superhero in Black Panther.
My king.
Stop it. Stop it.
Despite his relatively late entrance, Boseman became one of the most defining performers of the MCU. So the world was left in complete disbelief on August 28, 2020, when it was announced that Boseman had died of cancer at just 43.
Now, the news both shocked and devastated fans around the world, and it devastated his family.
The star had kept his diagnosis a secret from everyone but his family and a few select close friends. So the general public had no idea that he was suffering.
When you decided not to share what was happening, were you scared somebody was going to dig and find out that he was much iller than people thought?
It was COVID, when things were really starting to spiral.
The surprise was compounded by the fact that a healthy-looking Boseman had recently appeared in the climactic Avengers films. John Lennon. Being just 40 years old, it seemed like John Lennon had decades worth of music and philosophy to still release.
And the world delivers one.
But all that potential was cut short on the night of December 8, 1980, when he was infamously shot and killed by Mark David Chapman. The concept of a celebrity being assassinated is sure to be big news, and this news was made even bigger owing to the fact that it was John Lennon.
Lennon was shot and killed at about 11 o'clock last night outside his apartment building. News of the Lennon shooting, of course, spread quickly around the world.
The public grief was unlike anything seen before. Songs were penned, memorials were erected, public vigils and moments of silence were held, and there were even reports of Beatles fans taking their own lives. It was one of those once-in-a-generation surprises that no one ever forgets.
They're the people who didn't even know him, but who knew him well. The fans gathered here tonight who knew John Lennon through his music, through his songs, through his verses. They stand here tonight saying, "Thank you, John."
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Heath Ledger. The famous Australian actor died of a drug overdose on January 22, 2008. A myriad of factors went into Heath Ledger's death that left people in complete bewilderment.
The actor Heath Ledger was found dead today in an apartment here in New York City. He was just 28 years old. The Australian-born actor came to huge prominence after his powerful performance in the film Brokeback Mountain.
For one thing, Ledger was only 28 years old, and he seemingly had a whole career ahead of him. He was also suffering from a number of health problems that the public had only recently been made aware of, including continued bouts of insomnia.
So Kate was saying to him, well, Heath, you can't take sleeping tablets on top of prescription medication. It's not a good mixture. And he sort of said, Katie, look, it'll be fine. I just need to get some sleep.
Finally, the death itself came out of nowhere, as he was found unconscious in his Soho apartment. The autopsy proved that he had died after consuming a large variety of prescription drugs, including multiple depressants called benzodiazepines.
He had a path. He wanted to become a film director. Everything that he was doing was focused on that.